Peter.
Hello.
Hello,
I thought
hello.
there was going to be a pause in between. Let me do my thing.
I'm sorry. I skipped the hype thing because I thought, wait. Who's that? What is this coming out? Oh, look at. You're taking inspirations from Sean here. Everyone's like, I saw a Twitter post like, this is amazing. You folks are all
You know what?
coming in.
I've been stealing from Sean, and I did steal just a little bit from Leo, and I'll show you in a
There you
second.
go. Okay. Well, this is amazing. You folks are all playing on the Snorkeling and Maui theme. And actually, our good friend Pedro is in there in the chat room as well. Hey, Pedro. Contribution of how to join channel. Yeah, well, let's figure this out. Let's do a different channel if that makes sense. But yeah, we should have a place for all of us .NET MAUI enthusiasts to hang out. But anyway, let's restart. And very good afternoon, good morning for those of you in the Americas. And thanks for joining us. This is Code It Live. This is a .NET MAUI focused stream, Snorkeling in Maui. And I'm your host, Sam, for the day. With me, I have my very good friend, Petar. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you, Sam?
I am hanging on, and I'm doing really good. And you are in our offices today. Look at you.
I am.
And it's still, what time is it? You're like 7 hours ahead of me. You still got sun outside.
It's almost 8. We do have sun outside, and it's nice.
It is. It's good to be back in the offices as we, slowly come out of our pandemic modes. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So, nice entrance. Yeah, Sean really likes your snorkeling gear as well. Maybe we should, and this is a plan that many of us had when we first, heard of .NET Maui. Like, wouldn't it be nice if we all went to the island of Maui and had a conference? Wink, wink. I don't know if Dan's listening, but. Maybe someday, once the world is in maybe a better place, we can all head out to Maui. All right, so Peter, tell us quickly, what do you do? Who are you?
My name is Peter. I'm a developer in Telerik. I've been here in the Telerik UI teams for over 10 years now. I started off with WPF and Silverlight, then switched to Xamarin.Forms, and now Maui.
Yeah, you should just say, I am Peter and I am awesome. That's all you need to know.
I don't know if I'm that awesome.
You are a hardcore engineer. I'm a little scared at times to talk to you, all of you folks. But yeah, apparently Dan owns the domain. We shall see. Okay, so Peter, since he's a hardcore engineer, he wants to talk about advanced topic. He gets bored with me and my basic demos, but you want to talk all about handlers and graphics and different types of architectures, moving things from like renderers to handlers, right? So I thought, like, before we let Peter kind of go deep dive, we might start with me, who's like really basic stuff, and trying to maybe set the stage so Peter can take you forward. So Peter, bear with me here for just a second. I'm going to move my windows around and see if I can share my screen. Let's see. And okay, you see that. All right, so first up, Peter, what he mentioned was he's a part of our engineering teams at Progress Software, and we have this little thing called Telerik UI for .NET MAUI that we have been cooking up. And it's just to give developers more ammunition as we build UI, as we build for .NET MAUI. We have had Xamarin Suite, Xamarin and Xamarin.Forms for years and years now. And Peter and the team has worked on it, and now we are, transitioning over into Maui. But there are some differences, right? So before Peter takes you down the rabbit hole with handlers and how do we do stuff, let's see where I might not find that. Where is the they had a really nice image on where the handlers fit. I might not have it find it really easily here. App lifecycle, maybe not. No. No, I'm not finding the image, but essentially, compared to Xamarin.Forms, which had renderers, that's where we wrote like custom code which we wanted to customize for each platform. .NET MAUI kind of changes things for the better with handlers, and that's kind of what Peter wants to talk about. But before he does it, I wanted to show you a little bit of what the present reality, production reality looks like, and how that's changing in .NET MAUI. So, and Peter, feel free to jump in and tell me I'm stupid at any point. But here is a Xamarin.Forms app, right? This is, Visual Studio, and I have a Xamarin.Forms app, which is, that's my shared library, .NET standard library. I don't have Android or anything else out here. It's just a iOS library here. So nothing fancy about this. My app starts up just the way, Xamarin.Forms did. And let me bump up my fonts here a little bit. So you have my main page, which is my first view. And in my main page, I have the usual stuff. This is like file new project experience. And I have an entry control, which is essentially the text box. And this is what we could do or what we can do with Xamarin right now. Everything is a renderer. So that's the piece of code that renders a native component based on your abstraction. So this is the entry renderer, and we can customize what it is. We can change the background color because, who would not want a green text box? That's how we roll. So if we run this thing really quick, you'll see that I'm now, customizing that entry for every platform, not just iOS, but this one's running on iOS here. And essentially the rendering here is in my main page. You'll notice that I'm rendering the key or the regular entry, and then I have my custom entry. So that is my custom renderer. You don't need a custom renderer for this. You can do away with effects, but I'm just trying to show you. So here's my regular entry, and here's my custom entry, which is green. Now, this is for all platforms, and writing a custom renderer, Peter will tell you, is not for the faint-hearted. So you need to know a few things, but you can also take this one step forward. So for example, in my iOS project, I can come in and say, don't use that renderer that I have. Why don't you use something I have specifically for iOS? So this is me, further customizing the custom renderer, where we are saying, if you're on iOS, just change the background color to something else, which I don't remember what that RGB is. But like this line of code is not fun. All of the .NET MAUI folks will tell you, this takes a performance hit because it leads to like assembly scanning, but it's fine. It works. So now if I run this, you will see that just for iOS, like every other platform will use the green text box, but not iOS, because I'm saying for iOS, do something different, right? So as the app relaunches, you're going to see like this is like light purple. So, that's just the regular story right now with Xamarin.Forms. This is how we customize things on each platform. This is the renderer architecture. Now, let's move forward here. And I'm just going to go VS Code here and show you just a simple example here. And let's go to MAUI customizations. That's my project here. And I'm going to pull this up on VS Code. So, Peter, so far, am I saying wrong things, or are we good?
I think that you did say a couple of things that were wrong.
Oh,
The
geez.
one thing is that you were afraid of me, and I don't know, why would you say that? And the other thing is, I would call you stupid. I would never say that. I would never say that.
But I'm not as hardcore as the engineers. That's what I'm trying to say. You folks really know your stuff.
Neither am I.
Okay, so now moving forward from our production reality with Xamarin.Forms, this is .NET MAUI. So this is the the different platform architectures that we talked about with Leo. That's now a single project. Everything is a folder. No separate projects here. It's all multi-targeted here from the CH prod. Your target frameworks live right here. Now, the same way we start up here in my main page.xaml, I'm using an entry field. It's like the same text box, and it should render as a regular text box. But if you look at the app xaml.cs, which is where things start up, this is where we hook up things for our app as it starts up. I am actually trying to customize the handler now, not just the renderer, because we don't have renderers anymore. And it's just like so much easier to get to the native stuff here. I'm just saying it's a compiler directive. I'm just saying if you are running on iOS, don't do it for every platform, only on iOS, make the background green, right? And look at this. This is just UI kit. So I'm straight away into iOS land, and I can just customize it. It just makes it so much easier to customize. So let's go ahead and run this. And this may or may not run. Hopefully it does. So this is running on iOS. I did a .NET build, and I can actually also do this in VS for Mac and VS for Windows now. VS for Mac is still in preview, but it's coming along. I am not quite following the chat room here, but give me a second while I get this up and running, and then I can highlight your things, your messages. But out comes my iPad simulator. That's the default for my installations and my SDKs. So I have a green text box. Yeah, isn't that pretty? So this works, but hold on, I don't need the iPhone 1 anymore. But let's go back here. This was on an app level, but you can also come down and reuse. So this is a question we get a lot. Like, what if you have existing Xamarin.Forms renderers that you have written, custom ones, or you're using something from another library? Do you have to drop all of them and make all of them move into a renderer? And the answer is no. It's suggested that you do eventually, you get the performance, but you don't have to. You can actually still roll with compatibility mode. So right in my MAUI program.cs, as the app starts up, I can say, hey, go ahead and use compatibility. And just for the entry handler that you might have in .NET MAUI, don't use that. Instead, use the entry renderer, which is the old Xamarin.Forms one, right? So with that, just one line of code, I can fire up another iOS build. And you will see, hopefully, that we are back to the white, the regular, text box, because essentially now we are not using the MAUI handler. We are going back to using the Xamarin.Forms renderer. So if you have custom renderers that you have written, don't worry, you don't have to, throw them away. They're just fine. Just use them inside of .NET MAUI. And hopefully, Peter, this is kind of setting the stage of what you're trying to say. Oh, no, this is Visual Studio. This is not MAUI. Okay, there you go. So now I have my old school renderer right inside of MAUI. So Peter, hopefully this makes sense. And you wanted to talk about more advanced topics with .NET MAUI. So I'm going to stop my screen share. And do you have your desktop up?
I do have things up and running. Honestly, I'm not sure that screen sharing is easiest. Share screen. Okay. The wrong screen.
Well, who wants who needs enemies when we have
Okay.
friends like this?
Are you seeing my screen right now?
I am, yeah. But
Which
I'm
one?
seeing your browser window, so maybe just minimize that and we'll be off and running.
Is it really this is the one? Okay, let's switch things then.
Yeah, there you go. Now we see it.
So I was just trying to say that I think you did an excellent job, and I'm not sure what else is there left for me to say.
Oh, really?
I
Well,
think
I mean, we're getting publicly shamed by our good friends here. That is shame on me for using
I think that
renderers.
I think that for all of the people that have ever created renderers, they know it's not the easiest task you can get, and it's doable. You can get it up and working, but there are some things you need to know and you need to put in. So it's just a little extra work. And with MAUI, things are a little bit different. So what you showed was in one of the cases you needed to use the renderer in Xamarin.Forms, but now in MAUI you don't really need to create a custom handler, where in Xamarin.Forms you needed to create a custom class and declare with the attribute and whatnot. With MAUI, I think that mainly the idea is try not to create a custom class, try not to inherit your own handler, but instead somehow use the infrastructure that is the handlers, so that you can get whatever it is that you want to get working. And I would try to show a simple demo. I don't want to show a very complex demo, because a complex demo will just take a lot of time, but just something simple. So what I've done here is I have defined a Cartesian chart with a single area series that's bound to some item source. So let's run this, and now I think that it will pop up on the other screen. But
Now, this, by the way, while you're waiting on the build, like this is a .NET MAUI project, and look at the Tizen folder. That's new. So you're running RC2. Okay, so and the only dependency you have here, I'm guessing, is the Telerik UI for .NET MAUI NuGet package.
Yes. The only that's actually from the template when you open up the Visual Studio and you say,
Yeah,
"Hey,
now you
create
have
a
new
MAUI."
template.
That's the template, and the only thing I've done is add the Telerik UI NuGet.
Sure.
Okay, so this is. You know what? Do you mind if I try to switch my screens? I just want to have the
Yeah,
things
yeah.
on the screen.
Do whatever you need to.
It will make sense in a second. Okay, I'm stopping the screen share. I'm starting try. Okay, I'm going to choose the second one, which is for me personally. This is the second one. Okay, did we get the Inception thing again?
Yeah.
Okay,
you
okay,
you hit it quickly enough.
okay, okay. Let's try and run this again. I hope now when you see the window opening, you will see a busy indicator in the middle for a little while. Okay, I thought that putting a busy indicator and just waiting a couple of seconds is going to look like I'm downloading data from a service and it's going to make me look professional, but maybe. Okay, so
The chart just renders too quickly, or unless you put the thread to sleep.
it's a quick chart. Okay, so let's say that I don't really want to have this solid blue color for the area series, and I want to have a gradient brush. Let's say a simple linear gradient brush. Now, unfortunately, at this time, our API doesn't allow for me to set a linear gradient brush, only solid colors. But the underlying WinUI chart does have this ability. So one thing I can do is I can utilize the handler's infrastructure, get to the native chart, and put in the linear gradient brush. So let's do it. There is this super convenient event, handler changed. So I'm taking the Cartesian chart and I'm asking to be notified every time the handler changes, which is basically if you navigate onto the window back and forth. And in here, what we have, I'm using a little cheat sheet. Actually, I'm on the other side. So if you see me looking over there, I'm just cheating a little bit. So now in this handler, in this event, we know that we have a handler running and we have a native UI component, which is the WinUI RAD Cartesian chart. So how do we get that one? We get it from the chart, which is, I don't know if I showed you, that's the chart, that's the name. From the chart, we get the handler, we get the platform view, and pretty much that's all. This is a RAD Cartesian chart. Okay, IntelliSense isn't helping me very much, but I know it is. This is the RAD Cartesian chart. So from the chart, I want to get the series, the area series. It should be the first one because I only have the one. I need to cast this as well. It's the area series. I think so. That's the series. So now that we have the series, we can utilize the built-in, in our WinUI chart property, fill. Okay. So now we want to set the fill to a gradient brush, and I've created a helper class, WinUI helper, and I have a method that's called, I have no idea what it's called, something brush. Get a custom brush. All right. So pretty much this is all I need to do. Let's see if this thing builds now.
So can I ask you one question while you're building this? Like the handler changed. When is this event fired?
If you're asking the exact time, it's when the framework. Okay, it's a complicated answer. So let's talk about this. On one side, we have the MAUI virtual chart. and that's a virtual chart in a sense that it's not a visual element for the underlying running platform. So we have the virtual chart, which needs to be displayed via platform views in the running platform. So the framework takes care of it. It knows that at certain point in time, for example, when you navigate to a page, or when you create dynamically a view and you put it into the visual tree, it needs to create a platform view and attach it to the platform visual tree. So when the handler gets created, it is attached to the virtual view.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, you're an engineer. You know the underlying things that are happening.
Okay. Okay. So didn't build. I'm assuming it's because I'm working in all of the platforms in Android and in iOS as well. And this code,
It's only
it's
for
only going to
WinUI.
run on WinUI, so I need to use a preprocessor for that. Okay, second try.
So, like, if we know that we have specifics inside of a platform mapping of how a handler works, we can come in and do those things in the handler changed event. Oh,
Yes.
there you go. Nice. Yeah. Look at
Okay.
that. Good,
First
beautiful
of all,
gradient.
remember in the beginning, I mentioned I stole some ideas from Leo
Pink.
Pink much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think to answer your question is the handler changed event is just a very convenient event, and
Yeah.
you can get it for I guess you can use it for a lot of reasons, but the main thing you can do is get the handler and do some work with it, or you can get exactly the platform view and do some work with it. So pretty much that's it. Let's see. I have the pink chart here, but my tooltip, I don't like the tooltip very much. Do you want to change the tooltip as well, real quick?
Yeah.
I have the WinUI helper, so I'm already set. I don't know the exact name of the method. It's something with tooltip, and I need to say, okay, I want you to set a custom tooltip for this series. And while it's loading, let's quickly check on that class. It doesn't do anything complicated. It just gets some resources from the application. That's the WinUI application. So that pretty brush is a WinUI brush. Okay, and let's see the tooltip now. It's matching my chart.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
You literally watched Leo go all pink, and you came back and changed your code to make it pretty.
I did.
Yes.
uh, okay, so I just want to repeat this again. In Xamarin.Forms, whenever you needed to change something in the underlying platform view that was running, uh, the suggested approach was create a custom handler so that you can get that native view and you can do stuff with it. With Maui, I think it's much easier right now because there is a sort of an inversion of control. I will explain this later. Right now, the virtual Maui view knows about the handler, knows about the platform view, and it can just work directly with it. I hope that makes sense, Sam.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see what else I can share. Actually, you did show that you did override uh,
The handlers and the mapping.
one of the
Now,
handlers. Yeah,
can
a
you remind me, like, you get like three things, right? There's an append, there's a prepend, and then there's one I forget.
the modify. The modify.
The modify. Okay.
I think you were using the modify mapping, which is
No, I was using that append.
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that this is super flexible. You get a lot of flexibility with this you can either completely change the implementation when mapping either a property or even a method, an action. So you can completely change it with your own implementation, or you can append, or even append is when you execute your logic after the framework does its job. And there is
Right.
also a method prepend to mapping. Yeah.
Hmm. But
So
if you do prepend though, you run the risk of it being overwritten though, right? If somebody else or the framework does it.
absolutely, but I guess that you can think about what you want to do, because right here, my demo, I'm just printing some debug information, and so for me it would make sense to know that this is going to get changed and this is going to get done.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Sam, do you want to talk more about the handlers, the mappers, or do you want to switch on to something
No,
else?
let's switch on.
Okay, what do you want to do? I can talk a little bit about custom handler, which is a bit complex, but not much.
Yeah, let's ready. We got a
Okay,
little bit of time,
okay, okay.
and before you do though,
Hmm.
hold on for a second. This is Mr. C Sharp Fritz, our good friend Jeff Fritz. He's been streaming on I don't know what, but he just rated us. So hello, friends. Hello. Yeah, there he is. Mr. C Sharp Fritz. Thanks for the raid. Welcome everybody. And just to set the stage, we are, Code It Live. We code about a lot of different things throughout the week, but today in particular is a special stream. We are focusing entirely on .NET MAUI. It's almost a 4-hour stream, and we are bringing out some amazing folks from Microsoft and from the community to share their passion about .NET MAUI. If you want to know what we are doing, let's see if I can find a link. That's what we are doing. So we have a full agenda for the day. We are, bringing speakers on and off, and talking about all things MAUI. So welcome. Oh, and that's good to know. Robert Davis, we're streaming on Blazor and raising money. And Blazor is also welcome on .NET MAUI. We don't have a lot of content on that today because we are kind of going a little deep dive into XAML and C# and all things. And clip talk features. Look at that. We stream a lot about the Blazor side of things, but today we are kind of going a little deeper into some of the XAML and the .NET. Petar Marchev is with me here. Peter is a hardcore engineer. Peter, what else can you talk about in about 5 minutes? What do you think you can wrap up in 5 minutes?
Okay, you know what? We are not going to talk too much about the custom handler because I think we can do a little bit more interesting MAUI graphics.
Yes.
But sometimes you may need to create a custom handler for something. For example, here I've created a custom entry just like yours, but just a little bit different. And this is my custom edit text. Oh, what's going on here? Oh yeah, I need to because that's our RAD entry. I need to return an instance that is of type MAUI RAD entry. So that's my custom view. So this is when I want to get a custom view running for some reasons. Usually it's some complicated things. For example, you want to handle touch events or just something that's very custom and you can't really change it from the outside. So sometimes you do need to create a custom handler. And here I've done nothing serious. I'm just printing debug and I'm just counting the touches.
Sure.
So what I've done is create a custom entry that's a MAUI virtual view. I've created a custom handler, then created a custom component, and I must have registered it somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, configure MAUI handlers, and here I'm saying, okay, for this custom entry, I'm using the custom handler. But I'm not going.
This is beautiful, and this is key to know because like this is the difference compared to renderers and handlers. Like you can define your custom handlers, but you have to register them. And just the way you're doing it, Peter, like do it only for Android. right? So you're making it very clear to the compiler that, and it doesn't need to do the whole assembly scanning anymore. It is much more upfront about which one is being registered and which one to use.
Absolutely, that is a goodie.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we going to run out of time?
No, yeah, go ahead and run this.
The busy. Okay, I switched to Maui graphics. Do you want to do that?
Sure. Yeah, we got 3 minutes.
I was planning on showing a little bit of Android, but time is pressuring, and Android builds a little bit slower. So,
tell me about it.
Okay, so let's see if it's running, and we'll see what's going on. Okay,
Ooh,
it's running. It is running. So what I did here was just create a very simple animation, and I thought it shouldn't be a circle. I thought everybody's doing circles, and I should do something different, an ellipse.
This is nice.
Yeah. Okay. So what have I done to get this up and running? Okay. This is my custom component. It's called custom busy indicator. In order to get it running with Maui graphics, I need to inherit the graphics view.
Can I pause you? What is Maui graphics? Real short.
Oh, it's a library that allows you to paint things on screen, and this is way different from the usual visual tree structure where you have separate elements that are visual elements in the running platform. You have a button that's an independent UI element, you have a label, you have a grid, and so on. The graphics view and the Maui graphics, it allows you to get pretty much a canvas, so that's a portion on the screen, and just execute instructions onto that canvas. For example, draw a point here, draw a line, draw a circle, draw text, and stuff like that.
So like full control over the pixels, kind of like what we did with like Skia Sharp, but now you can customize things a little more easier.
Yes, where Skia Sharp utilizes the Skia library, here the graphics view utilizes all of the platforms, all of the underlying platforms. They have some built-in means to paint things on screen, and that's if that means something to you, on render in the on render override in Android and iOS, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this is actually platform, and it's not an external library like the Skia Sharp. It's a built-in Maui. Maui utilizes it already. So okay, so in order to display anything on screen with the graphics view, you need to set the drawable property. The drawable property is of type iDrawable, and here I was a little bit lazy, so I just said that I am the drawable. The iDrawable interface has the only one method you need to override, and that's the method that provides you the canvas onto which you can execute instructions and some information about which parts of the screen you need to redraw. And painting is super easy. This is how you can paint a rectangle. You just say, canvas, I want to draw a rectangle here. Or if you want to draw a point, say, hey, canvas, I want to paint a circle in this center with this radius, and pretty much that's it. I think we're out of time. Let me know if
we are, but this is pretty sweet. Like this is built in, and you have complete control over exactly what you paint on that canvas. Because like that's literally your angle. You're getting a point in dot center. You're giving it a radius, and then you're just like painting a circle.
Yes.
And you are doing this for the dots count is how many? Like you got like 10 or so dots.
I think I have 6. That's just some arbitrary right here. Yeah.
And you have a time duration on which they're spinning. This is nice.
Yes, and the way to actually do the animation, you need to ask for the framework to do another draw pass. So you just say invalidate, and
Mhm.
on the next UI frame, you are going to get this method executed again. So this is just a constantly running animation.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Beautiful demo. Look at that. In like 20 minutes, you can show off like 5 or 6 demos. This is why you're hardcore. This is why you're amazing. So, all right, Peter. I wish we had, of each of the speakers. Like, I feel so bad. Like, you can all talk about this like for hours and hours, but we're trying to be cautious of everybody's time. So, Peter, we're gonna maybe stop here, and I need to have you on stream more so you can build some of this with me on stream.
Absolutely.
All right, all right. So I'm going to bring your desktop down, but this was amazing. And yeah, folks, Peter Marchev, the amazing Peter Marchev, showing us all the things. And Sean likes it. Sean is into animation, so he likes what you're showing off here, all the custom graphic stuff that you're doing. So Peter, thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to hop in on stream with me. It's late evening.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, go have a drink. I hope you have a great rest of your evening.
Bye.